Lines. Now the news in detail. 8 students and 2 lecturers have been kidnapped after gunmen invaded Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic in the Zaria local government area of Kaduna State. The bandits attacked the school located along the Kaduna-Zaria road last night, shooting at students and leaving several others injured. The Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, confirmed this incident in an interview. Aruwan disclosed that one student who was shot died on the spot. The latest incident comes barely 3 months after bandits attacked the Federal College of Forestry, Mechanization Afaka in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State and Greenfield University in Chikun local government areas, where they kidnapped over 50 students and killed 5 others. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has condemned agitators of disintegration of the country, saying that it will be almost idiotic for Nigeria to disintegrate at a time like this when Africa is trying to reintegrate for political, social, and economic development. He insisted that the country is far better for all the ethnic groups in the country to remain together as one indivisible nation with fairness and equity, and where all Nigerians will feel proud rather than for each tribe to go its separate ways. The former Nigerian leader spoke at the luncheon and investiture organized by the Nigerian Institution of Surveyor, Ogun State Chapter, held at the premises of the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, OOPL, Abeokuta. The former president called on all agitators for the disintegration of the country to shelve the idea and work for the unity and oneness of the country.
And those of us who have shed part of our blood and sweated for this country, we did it because we want a country that every Nigeria can claim to be his or her own. Part of the reason why I'm going to Abuja is because of that. And I believe that if we all work together, if we speak to ourselves and talk among ourselves the way we should talk among ourselves, rather than talking to ourselves, we talk with ourselves. If we change the narrative, this is a great country that God has given to us. And that we are not getting it, we are not making Nigeria what God has created it to be. It's not the fault of God, it's the fault of ourselves, particularly our leader. One thing that gives us strength in this country is our diversity. And it doesn't matter what anybody may say, if all that we have is Republic of Oduduwa.
President Muhammadu Buhari has given approval to the return of open grazing practice during the First Republic, where herdsmen used designated grazing routes to move cattle to several parts of the country. The president made this known in an exclusive interview yesterday. While fielding questions in the 44-minute-long interview, the president said he had asked the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, to begin the process of recovering land from persons who have converted cattle grazing routes for their personal use. The AGF had kicked against the declaration by 17 southern governors to ban open grazing, noting that it is like northern governors banning spare parts trading. He flayed Benue State Governor Samuel Otom for his utterances, implementation of an aggressive anti-open grazing law, and for accusing the president of failing to take actions against herdsmen because he is also a member of the Fulani herders. Buhari said indeed he's a Fulani man, but Governor Otom was being unfair to him, adding that he had told Otom that the herdsmen perpetrating the attacks are not the Nigerian Fulani. President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday flagged off full commercial operations on the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line project, describing it as another milestone in revitalization of railway projects to boost economic activities in Nigeria. Buhari said the project, which was part of the Lagos-Kano Railway project, which already has the Abuja-Kaduna component. According to him, the railway project is being given the needed attention it deserves, and when the Lagos-Kano project is completed, it will link up to Maradi in Niger Republic.
The Federal Ministry of Transportation and Ministry of Finance have been directed to vigorously act on engagement and reaching financial agreements with appropriate co-financiers to partner with the federal government for the development of the Ibadan-Kano Railway and the connection to the Tinkan Island port, as well as the west to east coastal rail line from Lagos to Calabar, linking Onitsha, Benin, Warri, Yenagoa, Port Harcourt, Aba, and Uyo.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who spoke on behalf of Ogun and Oyo governors, was quick to point out that it was the first time the president was visiting the state after winning election in 2019. Sanwo-Olu said the standard gauge rail project was a testament of the federal government's investment in Lagos State.
Our three states have benefited greatly. Lagos continues to be home to the flagship station on this line, where we're seated, my predecessor, Mobolaji Johnson Station, which is here on this ground. Ogun State has the iconic railway wagon assembly plant in Kajola, and Oyo State is home to an inland dry port that will help decongest the Apapa port.
Earlier, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, expressed gratitude to the President for summoning the courage to take the loan from China Exim Bank to execute the rail project.
This occasion is the third time Mr. President is commissioning a standard gauge railway infrastructure project, completed and delivered under his watch. Even though Kaduna-Abuja was started by the regime of President Goodluck Jonathan, we completed it and commissioned it. We completed the one Itabewari, and I am happy the responses we are getting from people who use the Itabewari rail line. And today we are here in Lagos.
The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has declared that the upper legislative chamber of the National Assembly would provide an atmosphere for amendment of the Electoral Act to enable Nigerians to elect good leaders and ensure improved governance. Lawan spoke yesterday when he led some lawmakers to the Wasa IDP camp in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, adding that the Senate will consider and pass the 2021 supplementary budget speedily whenever President Muhammadu Buhari sends it to the chamber. Lamenting the persistent insecurity, he said insurgency had created several internally displaced persons, adding IDP symptom of insecurity in the country. Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, is calling on the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, provide proper health care, means of livelihood and other forms of relief for internally displaced persons living in the Federal Capital Territory. Lawan disclosed this during a solidarity visit together with other lawmakers to the IDP's camp in Wasa, a suburb in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to mark the second-year anniversary of the 9th Senate.
None of our sisters and brothers in this camp wanted to be here or wished to be here. All of them are forced to be in an IDP camp. The rest of us who are not in this camp, and those of us especially in leadership positions, are supposed to show empathy and commitment to first ensuring that while our compatriots are in this camp and indeed in any other camp, their life is protected, their dignity is protected.
Also speaking, the FCT Minister, Mohammed Bala, said IDP's camps have drawn mechanical activities to the areas of settlement, while calling on the government to invest more in roads that have needed attention for long, while speaking of other roads under construction.
Is one of 24 camps that we have in the FCT that are catering for about 26,000 displaced Nigerians who, for one reason or the other, have had to leave their locations to come and seek refuge here. Over the last few years, the federal government of Nigeria, as well as other agencies of government and the Federal Capital Territory Administration, have been taking care of these vulnerable Nigerians. In this particular camp, we have mainly Nigerians from Goza in the north, in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, and other towns within that area. But within the city, We are host to IDPs from Nasarawa State, from Kogi State, and other locations within Nigeria who, due to communal conflict, insurgency, and other sundry issues, had to move here.
The FCT hosts about 24 IDP camps from Borno, Goza, and other northern states troubled by the Boko Haram insurgency in the past years. The Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, has announced that his government has begun an adjustment of the state's security architecture to respond to the current security challenges of the state. The governor made this known yesterday while addressing the State House of Assembly during a special plenary session held to commemorate the 9th Assembly's second-year anniversary. Governor Makinde noted the process became imperative after a visit to Igongo to assess the damages caused by the attack on the people, adding that he is determined to ensure that such attack never repeats itself again.
And we're determined to ensure that such an attack will not repeat itself again. I made that promise to the people. For this reason, we're adjusting our security architecture to respond to our current situation. But when I say never again, I mean never again. Despite this, let me report that we have continued to prioritize the security of our people. In the past year, we have operationalized the Western Nigeria Security Network, codenamed Amateku. We held the personal parade of 1,500 core members and deployed them to all 33 local government areas of Oyo State. We set up a security task force which meets weekly to assess security threats and profile solutions that will work for us. We have strengthened our security architecture by expanding the operations of the Security Control Room and City Watch facilities at the Oyo State Security Trust Fund headquarters at Onireke. Right now, we can monitor activities.
While reading out some of the administration's achievements in the first 2 years in office, the governor promised not to derail on its promises to transform the state positively for residents and making it the perfect business destination for both local and foreign investors. The Speaker of the House, Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, thanked the governor for his support to the House, noting that 9th Assembly in Oyo State is one of the best in the country in terms of legislative accomplishments and tasks performed within a limited time. You're still listening to the news on Splash 105.5 FM. Now turning to the foreign scene. The World Health Organization, WHO, has stated that as COVID-19 cases in Africa rise for the third week running and vaccines are increasingly scarce, 47 of Africa's 54 countries, nearly 90%, are set to miss the September target of vaccinating 10% of their people unless Africa receives 225 million more doses. Speaking during a virtual press conference, the WHO Regional Director for Africa, Dr. Matshidiso Moeti, noted that as Africa nears 5 million COVID-19 cases and that numbers are rising week on week and increased by nearly 20% to over 88,000 in the week ending on June 6th. The WHO disclosed that the new global targets were announced recently at the World Health Assembly, the world's highest health policy setting body. And at today's pace, only 7 African countries are set to meet them. After meeting US President Joe Biden for the first time, Boris Johnson says the alliance between the US and the UK should be known as the indestructible relationship. He said he had terrific talks with Mr. Biden, who has traveled to Cornwall for the G7 Summit of World Leaders. The summit begins later with vaccines and climate change on the agenda. Mr. Johnson insisted that the US president had not rebuked him over post-Brexit tensions in Northern Ireland. However, Mr. Biden is said to have deep concern over the situation. Finally, in sports news, Brazil's Supreme Court has ruled that the country can host the Copa America despite the coronavirus pandemic, clearing the way for the troubled football tournament to go ahead in 3 days. In an extraordinary virtual session, a majority of the High Court's 11 justices decided against plaintiffs who argued the South American Championships posed an unacceptable health risk. Various judges, however, ordered the government to take additional safety measures. Already delayed by 12 months because of the pandemic, the Copa America nearly unraveled when original co-hosts Colombia and Argentina fell through at the last minute. The former because of violent anti-government protests, the latter because of a surge of COVID-19 cases. Just before we go, a recap of the headlines. 8 students, 2 lecturers kidnapped as gunmen attack Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic. Senators are short of amended Electoral Act for better polls. WHO said 90% African countries to miss 10% vaccination target. Brazil Supreme Court has allowed Copa America to go ahead. For more details on the news, visit our website on www.splashfm1055.com. Now you can download the Splash FM mobile app on iOS, BlackBerry World and Google Play Store to listen live, get news updates, opinion poll, and also report an event live to us through the iReport feature. To download, simply go to any of the stores mentioned and search for Splash FM 105.5, then click to download. We have now come to the end of the news on Splash 105.5 FM, the integrity station and the best radio station in the southwest of the country. The news editor is Tunde Olawu, assisted by Chinwe Churchill. I am Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.
Quick, Charger 240. Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.